What's going on, everyone? My name is Brent Schirmer. I run the See You Dude YouTube channel. I'm here to talk to you guys today about how to catch tarpon off the beach during the summer. I'm gonna break this video down into 3 parts: the best times and places to try and find these schools of tarpon, what baits I like to use, and my favorite rigs and setups I like to use when targeting these fish. So right now we are just beginning tarpon season here in the Tampa Bay area, and my favorite way to try and target them is when you can find the schools of tarpon off the beach. Usually the prime time for them is like June, July, late May, around there, and you'll find these schools of fish, sometimes up to like 20 fish at a time, all just daisy chaining down the beach. And these schools are coming by real fast, so you have to be out there in the right spots with the right bait, knowing what you're doing, knowing where to go. And my favorite way to try and get them is to head off the beach early in the morning. My game plan is to make sure I have baits in the water as the sun is coming up. The main thing is once you get out there, you'll start seeing these fish rolling on the surface. They'll come up and try and get a mouthful of air. And if you see these fish are really hanging at a certain distance off the beach, the majority of them that day are gonna be around that depth. So kind of keep an eye out, aim for that like 75 to like 150 yards off the beach, and then keep an eye out for the schools of fish, and then try and set yourself up in that area. But like I was saying, it's an early morning bite, seems to be the best. If you're able to get out right at sunrise, about sunrise to about 9 a.m. is when I have the vast majority of my bites. You can catch them after 9 a.m., but if you want your highest chance of success, I would recommend going either early in the morning or closer to sunset. The only problem with sunset is if you hook a fish at sunset and it's a big fish, you might be fighting it in the dark. That's why I like the morning bite. There's a lot of different baits that will work for this kind of fishing. My go-to bait, the one that's easiest for me to get and I've had the most success on, is live pinfish. I try to get the biggest pinfish I can find. If you can find a pinfish that's anything above like 6 inches, if you can preferably get one that's like 8, close to 10 inches long, I call those guys tarpon pins, because if you get that pin in front of a school of fish, they cannot resist it. Other baits that work really well are big thread fins or pilchards, maybe some live mullet off the beach, or a lot of guys swear by pass crabs. You can either catch your own pass crabs at night. A lot of people go at the bridges and the lights and with like a little dip net and get them that way. Or you can go ahead and buy them from a bait store. They just can be a little bit pricey at times. I'm really focusing on 2 methods while I'm out there. Having a bait under a bobber that's soaking out there the whole time I'm out there. And then I'll also have a pitch rod ready, which is just a free line with a pinfish tied up in a bucket. Because a lot of times you'll see these schools of fish coming toward you and you're able to get a bait or a cast right in front of them. And that's why I like having this pitch rod ready, because they could literally show up and you just have like a couple seconds to get ready. Like to have a bait ready for that. But then also like sometimes there's solo fish or schools that are staying under the surface and you don't really get to see them. So I always make sure to have a bobber rod out in a rod holder, at least one, just kind of soaking out there. And usually you have a higher probability if you're able to see a school and toss a little free line in front of them to get bit. But the majority of the fish that you'll catch during the year is on that bobber rod that's just sitting out there the whole time. So now getting into the setups I like to use. This is my free line setup. The only difference between my free line setup and my bobber setup that I use, obviously the bobber setup has a little sliding bobber that will go about 5-6 feet. Usually if I'm off the beach, I'm in between like 9 and like 15 feet of water. So making sure my bait's like 5-6 feet under, somewhere in the middle of the water column, seems to be the best for me. You want to make sure you have a reel setup that has a lot of line capacity. These fish can get up to about 200 pounds. The vast majority of the fish that you're gonna see are anywhere between like 60 and like 120, 130. Still big fish, so you wanna make sure you have a good size reel, a lot of line. If you're on a boat, you're able to chase them. If you're doing this method from shore, obviously you're not able to chase them, so line capacity is huge there. And this is my go-to setup for the tarpon. This is a Daiwa BG 5000. Even though it's only a 5,000 size reel, it's a big 5,000 size reel, and it holds a lot of this 40-pound Power Pro braid right here. I'll look up exactly how much line it can hold, put it on the screen right there. It holds a lot of line, that's all I know. For a rod, I use a St. Croix Mojo Salt. This is the 8-foot medium power rod. Again, it's medium power, doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm telling you, this thing has some backbone. I'm able to put some heat on these tarpon. For a leader, I go fairly light. A lot of people go heavier than me. I like going light. Gives me a lot more opportunity to get a lot more bites. Tarpon are pretty leader shy. So I drop it down to 50-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon leader. I put about a 6-foot section of that. That's where that sliding bobber comes up. If it will hit the leader knot right there, it will stop it, keep it about 6 feet under, and that's pretty much the same that I use for the pitch rods. So 6 foot, a 50-pound Seaguar fluorocarbon leader, down to a 6.0 owner circle hook right here. These hooks work really well with button hooking tarpon. And if you don't know, that's the softest spot on a tarpon's mouth. A tarpon's mouth is very hard. It's right dead center on the top lip. If you're able to hook them there, it's actually able to penetrate and you have a higher chance of catching them instead of trying to hook their bony mouth any other spot. And I found these hooks do a very good job of being able to find that sweet spot. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that helps. I hope you guys learned something. We are coming up on the prime time to try and catch some of these tarpon off the beach here on the west coast of Florida. So if you guys are able to get out, get on some fish, let us know down in the comments if this helped. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.